Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Nights with Endangered Stories for those of you who are watching this live, or good afternoon or good morning for whoever is going to be watching this later on. This is part two of my interview with Harry Schick, and the reason why I wanted to do two parts is because the first part kind of went into a direction that I didn't think it was going to go into, and I'm going to link part one in the description. So if you haven't seen part one, it's not very long. It's about 15, 16, 17 minutes long. You should check that out before coming to watch this. It really gets into the background of the pastry shop that Harry Schick owns. And that's a pastry shop that is, I would say, probably the longest running pastry shop here in the West Island in Montreal. It's 65 years old, which might not seem old, but when you consider just how long malls have been in the West Island, it's up there in age. So in this part two, I needed to preface it with something. I really wanted to preface it with something. It's difficult really to put into words because living in Quebec, there is a hot topic here. And I really wanted to stay apolitical with all the videos that I do. Especially when you're dealing with history, you figure at some point you're going to hit something that might strike a nerve with some people. This part two of the interview will strike a nerve with some people. Some in a positive way and maybe even some in a negative way. I know that a lot of those of you who watch these videos, you don't live in Montreal anymore. You left for, a ton of different reasons, but a lot of the reasons were because of, businesses were leaving Montreal. And a lot of you went with wherever the business was going. Transfers, opportunities, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of what we get into here. Harry's been dealing with this issue for a long time, and I felt that it was important. I made the conscious decision that it's time to talk about this. Not many opinions, right? It's all kind of objective. It's everything that's happened. Well, some of it is Harry's opinion, but it's nothing too out of the ordinary that you probably haven't heard before. Nevertheless, I do encourage you, if you haven't seen it, to watch part one, because it is pretty heavy, part one. And if you have seen part one, I'm very much looking forward to hearing your comments and reactions to what Harry's got to say in this part of the interview. So without further ado, here is part two of two with my interview with Harry Schick, the owner of Swiss Vienna Pastry here in the Plaza Pointe Claire or Pointe Claire Shopping Center in Pointe Claire in the West Island in Montreal. Take it away. 1984, Joe decides it's time to retire, puts the offer on, you accept, you come in. Now in 1984, it's interesting because I guess, what did you find were the initial challenges coming in as an owner of a new trade now for you? Was there a standard that you had to maintain? Were there regular customers?
Well, I was very lucky. We had an excellent staff in the back, excellent chefs, and they wanted that higher standard. I had a good sales staff in the front. My mother, we had a forelady who took care of the business too. And really the first 2 years was for me to learn the business.
So the machine was well oiled.
That's right.
Okay, so
that made it easier.
Gave you a bit of a headway. And then once...
Then I started working in the kitchen, learning how to do things, etc., etc. Today I could do almost all the facets of the bakery.
So as a businessman, after these couple of years, what do you feel was the first thing that you did that kind of turned this into Harry's?
Well, I
business?
doubled the store.
You doubled the store.
Yeah.
Now, was the potential already there before?
I took a chance. Yes, I thought it was.
Oh, you took a chance.
Hmm.
So
You
was
never
it
know. You always...
You needed more size for.
I wanted more size. I wanted to make it look a little bit better.
So same stock, more stock.
That's right. Stock, no, brought in new brands, new lines, new products in the front in the retail. Brought in more meats, more cheeses. Kept my pastry and cookies, etc., the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
More breads.
And the back expanded too, right?
Yes.
It all expanded.
That all doubled up in size in the back.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the store doubles. 86, you said?
Yeah, but at 86, 87.
Now, in 84, when you took it over, no time was spared before you started what you might be second most famous for, which is the drama that you've been having with the Quebec government.
That started with
Signage de PT2,
Bill 22, I guess.
or 178.
178, then Bill 101 came in. I've been through all of them. I've had fun with all of them.
But this is in 84.
You got to remember, in 84, when they annoyed me, I'm sorry, in 85 or 86, when they annoyed me, I protested and I put up my new window in the new store with the 45 languages. That's where it started.
Yeah. You started with 5.
Yeah, and then my clientele, as they were walking by, what about my mother tongue? What about my mother tongue? Well, to this day, we're still adding. If somebody comes along and says, how come this language is not on?
So initially in 84, you purchased the store, and within that same year, they're already in...
I had a welcome.
Because you had Welcome and Bienvenue?
Yeah.
And because...
both were the same size. And they're remaining the same size.
So, are these the original? Is it still the same ones that's there, and you've just touched it up?
That's right.
The Welcome and the Bienvenue
Nothing has changed.
are the same ones?
Yes.
And you've never redone all the languages? This is the same thing from 40 years ago when you
Yes.
started. So you start with 5. So the multilingual thing was, of course, it's. You also ran a store where your staff spoke many languages, you speak many languages, your customers spoke many languages. So to put many was a too fast.
I wasn't doing anything wrong in my eyes. I was treating my customers with respect and saying hello to them in their language, not just bonjour, as the government wanted. And it played well in my favor, to be honest.
So
I got a lot of respect from my clientele out of that.
So again, just to recap, 84 they come in, and I think by that following year in 85, you started doing the languages. Where did the idea come from? What sparked the idea of doing that? Because were you going to do it anyways, or was the Quebec government...
I think it was the government that was annoying me.
Yeah.
With...
You wanted to find a passive-aggressive way to sort of...
Quietly, yeah.
Yeah. And it would benefit your clientele as well. Well, I think it's genius.
But 8 years down the road, I see a poster by the Quebec government with the same languages that they used for some welcome sign.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the copy, but they used the same sign, only with a blue background behind it.
In 85, though, litigation starts?
I think it started in 86, and
86?
Julius Gray represented me in those years.
And it was a couple of years, eh?
Yeah.
It ran for a couple of years. Now, did you have some of your customers offering to help pay the...
Oh, I had all kinds of offers. I refused to take anything. I didn't want to be sponsored by any organization or anything. This way, to be honest, if I had something to say, I said it. I didn't have to check with anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
I was my own man in that. Nobody was able to control me, what I wanted to say.
No, but
Maybe my wife, she would yell at me, you're
Yeah.
overdoing it, but I did what I thought was right.
But this was still a fairly new phenomenon for the West Island, right? Because the language thing and the signage and business.
Yeah, but they were starting to go around from store to store and harassing retailers for not having more. The French being more predominant than the English. And my philosophy, my policy was an Anglophone and a Francophone customers are equal in my eyes. They both deserve the same respect.
And allophone.
Oh yeah, well,
All of them.
at that point I was talking English
Too.
and French, basically. Allophone, of course, is under the English heading. And that's why I maintain that my sign should remain bilingual and of equal size.
Now, you were how old in '84 when you took the store over?
Don't go there.
You weren't 40.
Because you
weren't 40.
No, I wasn't, but you're searching for how old I am now.
Well, you weren't. I know that you weren't 40.
Well, put it this way, I'm 74 now.
So, because something interesting that you said in March of 1985, and here's the quote from Harry. If my parents still owned the store, they wouldn't have fought. Older people prefer to appease than fight. Now, your age now versus their age in '84. But
Would be about the same.
so, is it that they were older, or it takes a personality?
We're coming from a different perspective. They went through a world war. I was born after the war. Basically, I lived most of my life in a free country, Canada. So I didn't have the same fear that they had. Joe coming from a communist country, my mother coming from Berlin, going through and seeing what they saw. That's why I still have no fear. I'm doing what I think is right.
Okay. So it's not because they were old.
No, it's
It
because...
just, for those who think that Harry is an ageist.
No, think about it. That's basically why.
I think you said in another article that they would have just gone with it to not cause any trouble, and just, if this is what it is, then let's just move forward and get on with it. That wasn't you.
Don't slap my cheek if you don't expect it to get it back.
October 1987. My store will remain bilingual as long as we own it, and I'm not in jail. Okay. So, 87, it kind of sparks up again, I think.
Right.
Right. Or by 1990, it sparks up again. 1990 is when it happened the second time. Right? So you said you didn't want to see this first incident as a win, because you said that they could come in my store today or
That's
tomorrow
right.
and start it all over again.
100%, they still can today.
So in 1990, when it happened again, you protested in a different way. What did you do to your storefront in 1990?
Oh, you really have to go there. You've been digging.
I've been digging.
Is that when I put the black paper on my windows and said, English has died today? And I basically covered up my storefront in black in protest.
The other choice would have been to just I guess take the English off or make it smaller.
No.
And then that would have been it, right?
No. English has the same right as French in Quebec, in my eyes. Plus, I still don't see us living in Quebec, the country. We are still in Canada.
But what I'm saying is that they would have left you alone and you would have avoided all this stuff had you had...
At that time, they annoyed me so much that I put up another sign on my top corner window. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm sure you have. OLF, we're here to stay. Office langue française.
That's from a couple years ago.
No, that's way back.
Oh, that's way back.
That's way back after this black window protest.
Okay, I want to stick with 1990 because
Well, you were born then?
no, no, we're getting into my high school years now, but it's the magnitude of starting a business. You're taking it over. Your mother is here, and in the same year, you're trying to figure out how to run the business, and you have this new phenomenon, which is the heat that you're getting from the government. And it's not like you can look back in Canadian history and see how someone else figured it out. It's like a brand new thing that you had to figure out.
You have to understand there are two elements to this. A, I thought they were wrong. B, I was having fun with it. Okay? I didn't lose
We're getting your artistic skills.
I didn't lose a minute's sleep. As a matter of fact, hindsight, it probably increased my business by 30%.
Okay, well,
Because now all of a sudden, we have more francophones coming into the store and saying, Harry, we're with you. We don't approve of what the government is doing.
in the spring of 1990, things were getting a little heavy. I give up. Basically, if I can't have English signs on my front window, I won't have French signs. I'm ready to close the shop and get out of here.
Sounded good.
Were you exhausted?
No, it just sounded good. It was good PR, good radio,
You
good
just said
TV.
it's a PR.
It sounded good.
It's like you're writing your own story as it was happening. You're like, oh, this is the part in the story where I should seem like I'm a little defeated.
But it didn't, you know what? Exactly. Okay? What am I going to say? Somebody came up with that comment or was talking to me, and it was just that type of a moment. Oh, let me give him something to talk about.
Okay, well then on May 17, 1990, just 5 days later, you were getting calls. Watch your family.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to hire a security security guards from an agency.
Yeah. Took my kids to school.
Talk to me about this.
4 or 5 days later, it was all over.
It sounds like the October crisis.
This province. Anyhow, we shouldn't go there.
Okay, well, give me something.
I did what I had to do to protect my family.
I'm not saying that it was them that called you. It was probably some
It could
moron
have
who
been,
read it in
could have
the
been
newspaper.
anybody who
Yeah.
called. I'm not blaming the government. I'm not blaming anybody. We had a threat. We took care of it. The police were watching. End of story. And after that, really, we've never had a real threat.
And that ended in 1992,
Yeah.
where you won again.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the same thing where you said, I won, but...
It continues.
And it did continue.
Yeah, and it's going to start up all over again now with our premiere.
So really it's...
Hurts to say his name even.
so really it's... Man.
I got you confused now.
No, I'm not confused. It's just the fact that you held out for that many years. Because I'm thinking of all the people who just, said, you know what, I could do this
Well,
an hour and a half away and not have, you know what I mean?
yes, but the people to blame? You blame the Steinbergs, the Bay, Eatons, who capitulated the first sign.
What did Steinberg's? They got rid of the
They
apostrophe?
the apostrophe. Eaton's got rid of the apostrophe. The Bay changed it to La Bay. Had all of these big companies put up a stink right away. Unfortunately, us Anglos are too quiet. We lay back.
Or the ones that fight left.
Yeah. That's another story.
So you're the only one left on the battlefield.
Well, there's still people in the background doing their work. There's still a lot of people trying and working hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not over.
So beyond that, you're 40 years this year in the pastry shop. You got a lot of memories, a lot of regulars. Now, are you still doing it for the same reason that you bought it? A business opportunity?
I'm doing it because I'm enjoying it.
Now you enjoy it.
I'm enjoying it. And I don't want to retire. I just don't see myself sitting at home watching TV or playing golf 7 days a week. I play anyway whenever I want to go out. I have enough decent staff and good staff that I can get away for a while. So I really, as long as I'm healthy, I'm keeping the store.
Are you older now than you were, Joe, when he sold you the store?
We're about the same age.
You're about the same age. Is this playing a head game with you at all, or doesn't bother you?
No, I'm feeling good. I feel well.
What does bother you?
You know what? To be honest,
yeah,
I'm very easygoing.
Why?
Ask my staff. It takes a lot to rile me up.
But were you
For
always
what?
this way?
Who wants to get mad?
I don't know.
Who wants to fight?
It's a human emotion.
No, it's not.
There's got to be something that gets you upset.
I don't want to fight. I want to enjoy life. I want to do volunteer work. I want to help people if I
You've
can.
always been this way.
Always. Listen, I've been a board member of our synagogue for 52 years. How many people can say that they're working for an organization that long?
Good Lord.
Okay. You know, I enjoy it. I don't mind. I'm happy I can do good for other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You don't see my name splatter, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like to do things and no recognition.
Is there an era in the store that you would say was your golden age?
No, that's a tough question because we've had tough times, we've had good times, we've had floods here, we've had an ice storm.
A couple of them.
Yeah, you know, but the first one was the big one where we lost the store completely. We were out for 11 days. It took me 11 years in court with the insurance company. We finally won after the 10th year, and then they went to appeals. And fortunately for us, on the appeals court, we won that case too. So I've been a fighter also. So don't say I don't fight.
Do you have your own chair over there at the courthouse?
Yeah, you know, and that was probably my worst time. At the same time, we were supplying the airport with all their Danish and pastries, HMS Host, and we basically moved into the airport for the 10 days, me and my chef, Michel, you know Michel, and we worked there, baking and supplying the muffins and Danish, anything we could for the airport, for the restaurant. The store here was totally
Is he still
gone.
here, Michel?
Michel retired.
Oh, he retired?
He retired.
After how many years?
Michel was with us about 35 years.
Yeah, we
30
did.
odd years. You did.
We did the Milfay.
That's right.
We did the Milfay together.
Michel started when he came, first day after school, after he finished
that's right.
pastry chef.
And at that point, were you getting the John Rennie kids too, coming down at lunchtime?
John Rennie kids always came down into the store.
Oh yeah? What's
Yeah.
the thing about this? Were you serving something that had a little bit of alcohol in it?
No.
At one point?
No, we never. Our rum balls?
Rum balls.
Yeah, but that wouldn't.
Wait, are we not allowed to put this in?
Yeah, that's okay. The rum balls are legit.
They're legit.
No, you won't get polluted, but you'll enjoy the pastry.
Because when we did the video, the first one that we did, there's all these comments about these rum balls. These kids coming down for the rum ball.
They thought they're having a ball with the rum ball. The name made it. You know.
How many would they have to have had? They couldn't have afforded that many.
They couldn't get drunk. They still can't. There's Jamaican rum.
You still serve them?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Same recipe.
Kids, you'd have to buy a lot. You'd get sick from the sugars before the alcohol. And you used to have huge in my day was you had the counter open, the little walk-through, drive-through.
That was the yogurt section.
But us kids would come down. Slushes was
Slushes,
a big thing.
well, that was in the yogurt section.
Yeah.
Can't make a lot of money at a slush for $1 at those years. And the mess that you guys made outside the mall was yelling at me constantly.
It was a big lineup.
Yeah.
A little bit of loitering too. You were very patient though.
They were customers.
Do you think about is the weight there of the fact that you took over a business that was in the family? Do you feel any sense of responsibility other than it just being a successful business?
No, to be honest. It's so far back. It's so... I've done my thing. I'm enjoying it. We're constantly changing products, constantly evolving and doing, trying to update products and bring in new products for customers and developing a new clientele. We've now, over the last couple of years, developed a large Polish clientele.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is where our future sales and business is.
And what about your mother when she was reaching the end? Is this also something where
she was here till 90?
It's just a business, and
customers actually still miss her at the cash. Her always with her coiffed hair and her jewelry, standing at the cash,
old school, eh?
talking to them in all languages and whatever.
She was New 4 as well, or what was?
She spoke English, French, Yiddish, German, some Polish, and some Hungarian. French was her fluent tongue, and then German, because she was educated in German. Yeah, so she had no problem with any of the customers.
And she did what? She was 5 days a week she would come in?
No. Towards the end, she was down to 3 days. I wouldn't let her in longer.
Yeah.
Don't forget, the woman was 90 years old when she was still coming in.
Well, you were heading that way.
Listen, hopefully I have a long life as she did. Unfortunately, in my family, my father passed away at age 37, and my late brother passed away a day short of his 55th. You have to be lucky. So far, thank God, I'm doing okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know your family. You got a great family. So you've it's not the only thing you've got. You've got great grandkids.
I got great grandkids.
Got great grandkids. You got a great daughter-in-law.
I can't complain.
And her family is fantastic.
Yeah, well, you've met them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're in a very good position. And I wish you
life is good. It should only continue.
Yeah, I wish you nothing but great success.
Thank you.
In this business, as well as you can push it.
You know what? To be honest, I don't care how much I make in this business. I'm enjoying it. Again, as long as I'm healthy, I'm keeping it. I'm not doing it for the money.
I'm just saying from a historical perspective, this is an original store.
Yeah.
It has been here since the inception of the mall.
The mall would miss this, and the clientele would miss this.
Yeah, but you're aware of it. Yeah, you're cognizant of this.
100%.
That a lot of people's memories, family memories,
just
personal
yesterday,
memories.
somebody came in. Oh, when I was a student here, we used to come and shop here. Unfortunately, I only get in here every 4 or 5 years because we now live in Ontario.
Mm. They come for the rumbles.
They come in for pastry and cakes.
Well, if you haven't seen this place a couple days before Christmas, you definitely should come, because it's a trip. Just to come and see, I'm the type of person...
But don't forget, we're not only a Christmas shop. You missed Valentine's. Next week, I start finishing and making all my Easter bunnies.
Yeah, it's true. From a decor perspective, your Easter and your Christmas is second to none. But it's just to see Christmas Eve or the 23rd.
Oh, it's wild here.
In here, just to take a peek and just to look, and you see a lot of familiar. It's like church at Easter time.
I'm a happy camper. December 24th, when I open the doors. Why? Because when I open the door at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I know every single order is ready. We have, this year, we had 800 orders to pick up on the 24th.
Of logs?
Logs,
800?
cakes, pastries, yeah. Orders. Well, you've made logs here. You've learned how to make a log.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah. Well, you think I make one or two?
No.
This is Swiss Vienna pastry.
There. That's the final one. And cut.
Good.
That was great. Did you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Holy.